The Egyptians are not African. I'm sorry.
Do you know where Egypt is?
Yes, it's in
Where?
North Africa.
Okay, stop. You stop right there. You just said that you said the Egyptians are not African.
Are white South Africans
No,
African?
wait. Yes, they are African. See, okay, to be African means you come from the continent of Africa. So if you come from the continent of Africa, that's who you are. So that means you're an African. So you do know. Do you also deny science that man originated from Africa, or do you say that's false science?
What are you talking about? I mean, what are you referring to?
I'm talking
Science.
archaeology. I'm talking biology. I'm talking science. In terms of the where did man originate? White scientists.
Egypt was an amazing civilization.
I
it was not created by black Africans. I'm sorry.
It wasn't. Who created it?
People who are white.
How are people?
You can look you can actually look at art, and they differentiate between races.
I got to ask you a question. How do you
from ancient Egyptian art?
You do know those were black people. You do know.
They weren't.
You do know from science you can't get black from white. You can get white from black. You do know when it comes to evolution.
What?
When it comes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you never studied science?
I see what you're. Yes, I have.
No, so
I mean, I'm not a scientist.
But
are
man,
you?
But man originated in Africa. Yes or no?
That is a consensus. Yes.
Okay. So if man originated in Africa, which means that they were Africans, then all of a sudden, when you talk about the amazing works of the Egyptians, they were people of color. I know that's a little rough for you to handle, but I know you want to hold on to that, somehow thinking whites built the pyramids. But I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, we did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because first of all, they were building things in Egypt while white Europeans were still in caves. That's a fact.
That is.
Egyptians were black. No, they were not. I don't know what's the obsession with our skin color, but we were not black. There are Nubian Egyptians, they look like that, but that's a very slim group.
Right, family, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Mr. J and this is Mr. J Diaspora. And thank you for those who have subscribed. Please, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Now, there's always something about the whites not giving credits to black people. When a black person do something or does something, it is always hard for them to give that credit to that person. But when a white person does something, it is always the whites have done it. You see, for example, when you talk about things like the aeroplanes, things like cars, you will always hear them saying that it was the white person that created them. But when a black person creates something, it is always very, very hard for them to give them that credit. Now, let's talk about Egypt. Egypt is actually in Africa, in East Africa. And actually it's not even on the shore, it's in somewhere, it's a landlocked country, it's somewhere, and it's bordered by other countries in Africa, in actually East Africa. But now, there's also claim, because of the pyramids, because of there are small white people there who are not even white, they are Arabs. Now they claim that sometimes they always claim that it is not an African country. Why? Because it is a country with something, because it has something. That is always the case. Actually, you see, there was a time when there's this comedian that I forgot his name, was talking about something about the France players who after the Mbappes, the France players who are denying that they are Africans. But of course, they are black people. Why don't they become black and at the same time be from France? Does it even matter? Now let's listen to some people talking about this, then we'll come back to talk more about it. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, also don't forget to share.
Europeans try to take Egypt out of Africa. Now, the late 1700s, it was like towards the end of the 1700s or the early 1800s, and the French invaded Egypt. They went down to the Nile and they discovered all the temples. So when they saw all these monuments, when they saw all of these creations was greater than Greece and Rome combined, and they were seeing all this, they were lost. It scared them because they was like, wait, why is the creation of geometry in Africa? How did all these great temples get in Africa? How are the creators of writing and how are the creators of this and that and this and that in Africa? And if you didn't hear me in the beginning, I said this happened towards the end of the 1700s, maybe 1799. So this was still going on around the time our ancestors were enslaved. So remember, they viewed us as we was just not human and we didn't know anything. So when they went into Egypt and then they saw all these monuments and they saw all these statues, they saw all these writings and stuff, it scared them. They was like, wait, how did black people do this? They were like, they're not supposed to be this smart. How did they do this? So that's when they started to try to take Egypt out of Africa. That's when all of that started. So I want to be clear. The whole idea of trying to take Egypt out of Africa was to say there is no way black Africans were responsible for the creation of this civilization. But you could drive to Egypt to Sudan. You could drive from Egypt to Tanzania. You could drive from Egypt to Ethiopia. You could drive from Egypt to Zimbabwe, etc., etc., etc. So we know Egypt is in Africa. I just think it's funny when Arabs and Europeans say stuff like, oh, ancient Egypt wasn't African people. But if it was me, how crazy would I sound, for example? If I went to Australia and I said, oh, ancient Australia wasn't Australian people, it was Arab people. How crazy would I sound saying something like that? When we talk about the Greek gods, nobody says, oh, were the Greek gods white? No, we say they're white. But when it comes to something in Africa, like building the pyramids or something, it's, oh, we don't know who did it. Oh, aliens did it. Instead of just giving us African people credit, instead of giving our ancestors credit, what are they going to do? We don't know who did it. Aliens did it. Europeans did it. Arabs did it. It's going to be everyone but us. It's going to be everyone but us. Can't make this shit up. But that's just the video I wanted to make. I wanted to explain why they tried to take Egypt out of Africa.
Egyptians literally refuse to acknowledge that they are in and a part of the continent they are in and a part of. There's no conversation to be had. It is countrywide delusion. You're telling me they were great enough to keep out African influence, but they weren't great enough to stop their colonization by the British? Even Ethiopia didn't get colonized.
Some embarrassing shit right here. Still, there's no hope for these Negroes in America who think Egypt, Kemet is in America. No receipts have been shown pertaining temple complexes or any of the stuff that we see in Egypt, in Africa. We haven't seen none of that shit over here. But people just believe it just to believe it. False. Egypt is not in Africa. Have you been to Africa? Some of you Negroes haven't even left your mama's couch yet. Never even left your fucking city limits yet. How do you know it's not in Africa if y'all motherfuckers never been there?
Welcome back, guys. Now, this has always been an issue. It has always been an issue like that. You see, every particular time, when even an African is talented and he comes from Africa, when he goes to participate in these Olympic Games, for example, if someone is good in athletics, they always want him to change citizenship. And they are always even ready to pay them to change their citizenship, just so as to represent them, not to represent Africa. That is always their case. That actually means they never want something beautiful to come from Africa. They never want something beautiful to come from Africa. If, for example, right now we hear that Africa has created something like an aircraft, you will always hear that they have taken that African to go and work somewhere, and that is the end of that. You'll never hear it again. It has happened. It has happened on several occasions. That is the life that they don't want Africa to shine. They don't want Africa to have something to be proud of. They always want Africans and black people to be down. To be down, 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 and down. That is always what they want. If something is from the whites, they will always say, without any, they will just say, this was created by a white person. But when it comes to something that was created by an African, now that becomes an issue. It becomes a problem. That person was not from Africa, or is from France. If, for example, when Argentina won the World Cup, It was it was Argentina is full of whites, so it was the whites have won the World Cup. Now, when France won the World Cup and Africans wanted to take some little credit on it, saying that some France players are Africans, now that was an issue. Now that was an issue. They're saying that those people were fully from France and they were not from Africa, and they were not even blacks. And of course we can see them. Those players were blacks. And actually we believe that all blacks come from Africa. And actually we believe that every particular person comes from Africa. So that is always what happens. That is always what they want to happen. It is only that people are forcing themselves, the blacks are going out there, fighting for themselves and making sure they make themselves proud. Because that is who we are. We are always proud of who we are, and we always want to make ourselves proud. Tell me what you think about this down there on the comment section. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. And also don't forget to share if you want to share. See you in the next video. Goodbye. My name is Mr. Joy, and this is Mr. J, the Diaspora. Thank you. See you in the next video.